Welcome back to the Rugby League Guru podcast and our final episode of At the Table. And we are going through the 4 best coaches from the NRL era 98 and onwards, 98 to 2025. A heap of guys to go through here. Really looking forward to this one. I think we'll have a similar 3. And I'm willing to bet we'll probably have a similar 4. I think the needle has moved a lot on the 4th spot in the last 2 weeks or so. But still an interesting conversation. I think that the bigger talking point will be where these guys sit, obviously. And I think with players, we've sort of said the entire time, and me and Matty haven't even spoken about this, but we've sort of said with players, if you've had a big enough influence in the early 2000s, what you did before 98 should count. I don't know how you feel, Matty, but I kind of think all these guys we're going to talk about, I think it should just be 98 to 2025. What do you think?
Yeah, 100%.
Right, like I think that makes my playing careers, I get it, it's different. They're only, 10 to 15 at absolute max, unless you're Cameron Smith, years long. Whereas coaching, obviously Wayne Bennett's going to come up in this conversation. He's coaching well before 1998, but has coached well beyond that. So I think this should be based solely on the NRL era.
Yep, I'm with you there. That's fine.
I think it makes the most sense. So with that, we'll obviously go through our number 1, 2, 3, and 4. We'll settle on the order they are and the 4 that will be. Do you want to nominate someone for me, Matty? Who you got?
I'll start with Wayne. We've already mentioned him. I think it's a pretty clear Cornella, to be honest.
Yeah.
What order you put them in, that's up to everyone's interpretation. It's up to your interpretation. I just have Wayne because, 98, so that means he's won 3 comps?
It means that he's won 6 grand finals, and I think he's won 4 comps. So 98, 2000, 06, 2010.
96.
No, 98.
Sorry, 98, 2000, 06, 010.
Yeah.
So he's won 4 comps.
He's won 4 comps. He's been to 6 grand finals because he lost one with Souths in 2021 and he lost the 2015 with Brisbane.
Yep.
So 6 grand finals, 4 premierships. And I think what does matter as well, from those 6 grand finals, he's done it with 3 separate teams, which I think will be something that'll be a little bit more relevant the more that we talk about this, however you value it. But he has done it in different systems, obviously. So at Brisbane, South Sydney, and at the Dragons, winning comps at 2 of those, obviously. I think for sure Wayne sits at the table. For me, I've probably got Wayne sitting in spot 1 or 2.
Yeah.
But I'm not exactly sure which one that would be.
See, what I think separates him from Bellamy. So let's go. Let's just compare those two because that's what 1 and 2 is, right?
Sweet. Yep.
So Bellamy's won. It depends if you want to count 07 and 09.
Well, what I've put down here for Craig Bellamy, I've put 11 grand finals, 5 grand final victories, 3 premierships. So that's obviously taking out 07 and 09. He won those grand finals, whether you want to include them in premierships. I guess when you look at the actual stats and everything, they're not. But 5 grand final wins, 3 premierships. I think that's probably the best way to look at it.
Yep. And so that compared to Wayne, who's like bang in the middle of those 2 numbers with 4.
Yes.
I think the difference is, 1, what you said before, Wayne has premierships with 2 clubs.
Yep.
2, Wayne has way more success in the rep arena. Like he dragged that Queensland 2020 team, the worst team of all time, to probably the most famous win in Origin. Certainly since 98.
Yes.
The most famous Origin win. Look, I know it being assistant coach doesn't really count, but he was the assistant coach in the 2008 World Cup with New Zealand.
Yep.
The only World Cup they've ever won, I'm pretty sure. I mean, he's coached Australia. I'm sure he got a lot of wins there.
Yeah, did a lot of incredible things as coach of Australia, as a lot of coaches of Australia did back then, but he did, yep.
Whereas Bellamy coached New South Wales and pretty much failed.
Yep.
So I think when you compare their rep careers, it's actually not even a debate.
Yeah, and I guess the argument against, for Craig obviously would be that, he's been to 11 grand finals. That's more than what Wayne's been to during this period. It's almost double what Wayne's been to. Even if you take out, the 2 where they were over the cap and whatnot, it's still more than what Wayne went to. I guess that's the argument. I guess the other argument would be, Matty, that Craig has been more consistent over that period. I think he's what is this, like his 12th top 4 finish in a row or something fucking insane like that. But it is with the same team. Wayne's done it under, in different systems and gone into different places and everything. So I think when you have a look at, who's had more seasons at the bottom of the ladder, I think it would be Wayne during this period. Obviously had some days at Newcastle that weren't great. Even Wayne last year with South Sydney wasn't great. I know there's context around that, but it all matters. But I just think, to win 4 premierships and 6 grand finals across 3 different teams instead of doing it at one side, I think that has to matter.
Yeah, definitely. And I think as well, like I know he didn't get on-field success at the Dolphins, but he was such a big part of
Yes.
like the foundation year, I guess.
Yeah.
Like they won their first 3 games, the same as the Broncos. They won their first 6 games, I'm pretty sure, back in the 1989 or whatever they came.
Yes.
In. He's got something different about him, Wayne, and it's not points against Bellamy because Bellamy's never really done that. It's just different because they're 2 totally separate but undeniable achievements.
Yeah. Yeah, I think as well, obviously that 98 premiership, and I know it's year 1 and we said we're not going to go, from beyond that. But, it was the year before that they did win the comp as well.
Yeah.
So, it was part of winning a back-to-back premiership. Granted, it was Super League, but, for me, it just got harder the year after in 98, which obviously Bellamy's never gone with back-to-back premierships. Let me ask you this, Matty. If I said to you, if we split this 27-year period, if we split it into, 13 years and 13 years, I'd go Wayne for the first 13 years, but then I'd probably lean towards Bellamy for the last 13 years based on what he's done and what he's achieved. But I think overall I would still go Wayne.
Well, Wayne wouldn't have a comp, would he, in that last 13 years? Yeah, so that's a fair comment for sure.
Yeah, well, he might have one that sneaks in there 2010 maybe if it's 98.
Well, 13 years.
No, he doesn't. No. Yeah. So no comp, whereas Bellamy's obviously had a few and lost a few as well. If Bellamy would have won the last 2 premierships with Melbourne, the last 2 grand finals, does that move the needle for you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, that brings him up to 7 grand final wins or 5 premierships, whatever way you want to look at it. And look, let's not get in a debate about 07 and 09.
I have no interest in that whatsoever.
They don't count. We all know they don't count. But just for the sake of this argument, it is still an achievement that he took a team there.
Yeah. I think, what if Bellamy won last Sunday? Does that put him in front of Wayne for you or not?
Nah.
Probably needs the 2.
Like he needs the 2 for it to be a conversation, I reckon.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, fair shout. Okay, so we are going with Wayne Bennett at number 1. We are going Craig Bellamy at number 2.
Sorry, let me cut you off though. If it's just club form though, if we're just talking NRL, which we're not, we haven't been talking about that for the whole thing, it's hard to go past.
I think it's Belly if it's just clubland, to be honest with you. And the argument that if I was trying to push Wayne straight away would be, hold on, Belly hasn't done it at different clubs. Yep. He's done it at one club the entire time, but that one club has just produced star after star after star. He's produced, in my opinion, what'll be 3, maybe 4 immortals out of that. That simply can't be ignored for me. I think when you also look at, the clubs that Wayne's been at between Brisbane, Dragons, like I understand the Dragons have been a bit of a shit show of late, but they're still one of, back when he arrived, they're still one of the most powerful clubs in the country, what they established. South Sydney, your club, obviously an enormous club, whereas, what Wayne's done is build that franchise down in Melbourne. I know they won in their, second year or whatever, but what he's built and the different pathways he's had to do, like we're in fucking 2025 and they're only for the first time getting their own New South Wales Cup team. That's insane.
Yeah. What Craig Bellamy has managed to do in Victoria is one of the greatest achievements in Australian sporting history.
Yes, I completely agree.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the, without, knowing all worldwide and everything, but just when you take in the context of, it's a game that's played on one coastline in 2 states, what he's done in Melbourne, like it's one of the great sporting achievements for me. They are top 4 every fucking year in a salary cap sport. It's insane.
How's this for a stat? More people in Melbourne, I'm pretty sure I read this, more people in Melbourne watch the NRL Grand Final than people in southeast Queensland watch the AFL Grand Final. Good Brisbane Lions won that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's pretty
impressive. That shows how, firstly, to be fair, that's the credit to Victorian people who are probably the best sport fans in the country. But it is a crazy achievement. Like rugby league is non-existent there, basically.
Yeah, it's a rugby league desert. Yeah. Literally is a desert. I think it's those 2, 1 and 2. We're going to go Wayne at 1, Belly at 2. But I do think it was something that, in hindsight, maybe it was a bit of a red flag, but something that Belly said when they beat the Sharkies to get into the grand final, just sort of pointed out that, we always look at trophies, but just always remember making a grand final is a fucking incredible achievement. He's been to 11 of them. Like, for example, if the Sharkies had made the grand final this year, we'd be praising them until the cows come home.
So he's made 11 GFs and won 5, is that right?
Won 5 grand finals, yes.
So he's lost 6.
He's lost 6.
So he lost 2006, 2008, 2016, 2018, 2018. Oh, and the last 2, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
6.
and the last 2, yeah. Yeah, the last 2 sneak up on you.
The last two sneak up on you.
Big time, yeah. But yeah, I think as well, and I don't have it here in front of me, but just Bellamy's record of finishing top 4 is just unbelievable.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, that has to matter. So yeah, overall, when you include rep football and all that sort of stuff, we are going Wayne at 1, Belly at 2. Number 3, mate. I think if you go back 5 years ago, you wouldn't even have him in the conversation. There's no, like I think you would be laughed out of the room if you brought him up. But Ivan Cleary, he now can't be ignored, and I have him here at 3. I'm pretty sure he's going to land at 3 on our thing, but fuck, mate, there's a good argument to have him higher. Like when you look at what he's done in a short amount of time. 6 grand finals, obviously with the 2 sides, the Warriors and the Panthers. It's the 4 in a row though.
Oh yeah.
That for me, just Bellamy hasn't won 2 in a row, and the only time that Wayne's won 2 in a row since 92 and 93 was a Super League into an ARL. Like, it's just fucking insane what Ivan's done. I would argue as well. Well, I mean, I don't know how much I need to argue it. When you have a look back at the 90s, you know, it was always the same sort of teams in grand finals. The Raiders, you know, the Panthers went to 2, the Broncos. You know, I think it's harder now than it ever has been before to win back-to-back, let alone win 4. Ivan has to be in this conversation.
Well, I think it was, 2010 to 2016, there was 7 different premiers.
7 different premiers, yeah.
Like, ridiculous. And then when the Roosters went back-to-back, that was the first back-to-back in the early 90s.
Even if you go backwards from that, if you go to 2009, Melbourne won, but they were over the cap. So let's say Parramatta wins that. That's another new premier at that time. You then go back to 2008, which was the Manly Seagulls. They didn't win one. Oh, so they won one in 2011, didn't they? Yeah,
still crazy.
It's absolutely insane the way it all played out and how difficult it is to go back-to-back. I think the best example of it, mate, is that Penrith, their first 3 grand final victories, all 3 of those teams missed finals the year after of the teams they beat. Like, that's just fucking crazy. But Ivan just climbs the mountain again. They create their own fuel to try and win every single year. And, I mean, this year, fuck, they lost in a prelim final. They're up by 10 points at halftime. Like, if that's the biggest failure you've had in 5 years, unbelievable.
Yeah, South did make the prelim the next year, but that was the last finals game they played.
Oh, did they make it the year after?
The prelim,
and then it fell apart.
And then it fell apart after that.
Sorry,
yeah. It still fell apart. Like, there's no denying that. Yeah, to me, Ivan's a clear 3. I can't put him any higher at the moment. Mainly because, yes, Craig Bellamy did it with one team, but he did it in multiple eras.
Yeah.
Whereas this Ivan team, and this is the harshest thing I'm ever going to say in my life, I reckon, but he's got to do it in a different era.
Yeah.
If he wants to be compared to Craig.
Yeah.
In saying that, if he wins the next 3, I'll probably change my argument.
It's the in a row that is just...
It's wild.
It's insane. That's the only thing... and I agree. I think he does have to do it during eras. Can I ask you a question? Does he have to do it without Nath?
Nah.
No?
Not like... Well, it depends how many grand finals they win, I guess.
Yeah, okay.
Like, if he wins another 2, then no. Like, I mean, he's currently got more premierships than Craig.
Yes. Yep.
Which is ridiculous. Not to mention as well, he also... Like, he didn't go too badly with the Tigers.
Yeah, and he got to a grand final with the Warriors as well. Yeah. I don't think he has to win one without Nath, but if he wins them without Nath, I think it's sort of shut the gate kind of territory.
In saying that as well, if Bellamy wins one without Cam Smith, he could go up as well.
Yeah, and for me, had Bellamy won one of the last 2, that would have elevated him.
Right, okay, yeah.
It would have, because it's the premiership he's won without that class. It's not the same as winning a comp at a new club, but it's winning a comp with a new group.
Yeah.
That, to me, does matter there. So, Ivan at 3, is there any argument to put him higher than that?
I'll hear an argument, but I probably won't hear. I probably will check out after 30 seconds because I think he's a clear 3. I think there's daylight between him and 4.
I agree. Yeah.
But there's not daylight between him and 2. But there's enough space that He's comfortably in 3 for a while, I reckon.
Had he won 5 in a row, I mean, it's fucking unbelievable, don't get me wrong. But for the sake of this argument, I don't know how much different there is between 4 in a row and 5 in a row. As outrageous as that sounds,
Yeah.
5 in a row is such a bigger achievement. I get that. But when previously it was 2, and since the 80s it was 3, 4 to 5, it's better, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if it's needle moving enough for me to put him above Wayne or Belly.
Well, I thought the biggest needle moving grand final for them was the Broncos one.
Yes.
Not because of how they played, just because they won 3 in a row.
Yeah.
The fourth was just like meh, which is crazy. We've just been so desensitized to them. But I'm with you. Like, if they won 5, it would have been crazy because they were sitting last. But that's why it would have been crazy, not because they've won 5 as opposed to 4.
Yeah, it'll sound really unfair, but I think the inner rows, I think it would only start to really move the needle when you go, okay, they just beat Queensland's run, or okay, they just beat the Dragons 11 in a row. Like, I don't know how much difference there is between 4 and 5 and 5 and 6 when it comes to this sort of stuff, when we're talking about coaches winning comps at different clubs.
Yeah.
And I know that's incredibly fucking unfair, but as you said, I think it's just us just getting completely desensitized to it.
Yep.
Like, we will never see anything close to it ever again, in my opinion, unless it's the Penrith Panthers of 2026, 2027, because Nath is so young.
Yeah.
Is the only way I can really look at it.
Which could happen.
Which could quite possibly happen, without a doubt. Now, spot number 4, I want to put up 2 names. I think I know it will be the third name, but I'm going to put up 2 names. First one is Desi Hasler. I just went through a quick count. I know that obviously the Titans went to complete shambles this year, and that was a shit show. Before that, though, I remember when Desi signed with the Titans, everyone was fucking hyped as shit about it because he had such a good record. 5 grand finals, 2 premierships during this period. The other one we have to put up is Trent Robinson. He's obviously only coached since 2013, but that's 13 years in the job there. He's won 3 premierships. That's more than what Wayne's won in the last 13 years. I think it's the same as what Bellamy's won in the last 13 years.
Yeah.
It's only just behind how many Wayne won in the first 13 years of this era, and that wasn't Wayne's first 13 years of coaching. So Robbo, 3 premierships, has to be in the conversation. And once again, I think last Sunday sort of decided this when you look beyond club football and have a look at rep football as well. I just find Madge hard to go past, mate.
Yeah, he's like the complete coach, isn't he? Like, when it comes to achievements in kind of every kind of level. Like, well, let's go through it. He took Wigan out of a drought in 2010-ish. He took Rabbitohs out of a drought in 14. He took the Tigers to 9th, even though it fell to pieces. He took, it continued to fall as he left. He then won the Pacific Championships with the Kiwis, 30-0. And then he broke the drought, and not only broke the drought for the Blues, not as in like the drought as in the Suncorp drought, like 15 years or
Crazy.
20 years it might have been, 19 years, whatever it was. He was the guy, and then guess what happened when he left? We freaking lost.
Yeah. We lead after one game and shit the bed.
Yeah. And now, I didn't even mention the Bronx. So, yeah, he's a clear 4th for me.
I think as well it matters for me where Madge has done it. Like South Sydney and Broncos, they are 2 clubs that the expectations are just so fucking high. The pressure is so high at both those clubs. It had been coming for so long, and he was the guy. Like, I personally, I've heard people say, Kev Walters could have won this with the Broncos, and maybe he could have. Can't rule that out. He got to a grand final 2 years before that, but Madge was the guy that actually did it.
Yeah, but you can't rule out anything. That's just a dumb hypothetical.
Yeah, no, for sure. All I'm saying is you can't say that Kev couldn't have happened, but Madge fucking did it.
Yeah.
Madge was the guy that pulled all the pieces together and made it work. He made all the big calls, et cetera, et cetera. Even you go back to that South Sydney premiership you had, mate, like I remember going into that day feeling pretty confident South Sydney would win, but that was a fucking good Bulldog side, and you lost your hooker in the lead up to it, one of your best players. The way that he pulled that side together, I think people forget as well that, Adam Reynolds was in his 3rd season. Luke Keary was in his 20th game. Yeah,
because he was out. He dislocated his shoulder in the 9s that year, so he didn't come back till like around 20 or something.
Crazy.
So the halves changed because Sutton was number 6.
When did Keary make his debut? Was that 13?
Probably 13. Maybe to pinch 12.
Maybe a game or two, 12.
He wouldn't have started many games before 14.
Yeah, crazy. So, Madge, I think he needs to be sitting at this table. I understand there is Robbo, there is Des Hasler. The thing against Robbo, I guess, is that he's done it at the same club. I think rightly, wrongly, I don't know, you make up your own mind how people look at Roosters premierships at times. But especially the three that they've won where he arrives year one and Sonny Bill, Jenko and James Maloney walk in the door. It's one of the best recruitment years of all time, maybe second to 2018 when he walks in the door, when Cooper Cronk walks in with James Tedesco. Like, that's one of the best halfbacks of all time. I think a top 3 halfback of all time. I think the best winner of all time. And James Tedesco, the second best fullback of all time, who, I don't know, accolades-wise, you can maybe even convince me he could be number 1. Like, pretty fucking crazy to welcome those guys back.
Yeah, and then kind of since when Cronk left, they kind of haven't really fired a shot in the last 6 years.
Yeah, I think that's probably the narrative that hurts Robbo the most for me, in that he has underachieved. I think Robbo does deserve credit, though. There's a number of times, and even this year, where I looked and went, nah, too many injuries, too many guys gone, they won't make the 8. Granted, they only finished 8th. They lost week 1. There's been previous seasons they've gone a lot further than I thought they should have, which you have to give Robbo credit for.
Yeah, 2021 was a great year for
Unbelievable
Robbo.
year, incredible. I feel like the Roosters, they go one year where they slightly overachieve, then they underachieve because they finish 7th.
Yeah.
And it's a hard balance, but I personally think when you take in international footy, rep footy, the 2 premierships and just how he's won those premierships, Madge, the way that he won that last premiership, I think it's one of the best examples of coaching I've seen in a long time.
And Madge, he's got plenty to go.
So much more to go.
Plenty to go with the Bronx.
And can you imagine the lessons he will take from this year as well? Like, I personally think this premiership would have been so much more testing than the one at South Sydney.
Yeah.
What he had to overcome and all that sort of stuff. And, the leaders that he had, back then, Sam Burgess, GI, who were available in all the big moments. His leaders and both of his leaders went down in the grand final, and he didn't have Adam Reynolds for the first half of the finals run. He had to play Ben Hunt in 3 different positions to make it fucking work. The guy that ended up, being the main fella was a 23-year-old.
Yeah.
Just crazy.
It's insane. I think as well, 2014, that was a fairy tale. And yeah, there was pressure, but there was pressure this year for Madge. They just made a grand final 2 years ago. When Madge came to South, they'd made the finals once in, I think, 25 years. There was way less pressure again, when he came to South.
So Wayne at 1, Belly at 2, Ivan at 3. We've got Madge at 4. Who's the unluckiest to miss out for you, mate? Des, Robbo, is there someone else that comes to mind?
I think Des and Robbo are probably almost Ricky Stewart's another one. If he wins a comp at Canberra, I think what gives Des a bit of a push is he built that Manly team from absolute dog shit in 2004.
Dog shit,
He did such a good job there. What hurts Des, though, is he's won the 2 comps compared to Robbo's 3. He has made more grand finals, though. He's been in 5 grand finals, I'm pretty sure. So that helps.
5, yep.
He had a bit of a long tail, though. He probably, his time at the Bulldogs ended badly. His time at Manly ended badly twice. His time at the Gold Coast ended badly. Whereas Robbo, they've been pretty good this whole time, even though they haven't really fired a shot recently. So it's a pretty good argument, Des versus Robbo. I'm actually not too sure, to be honest.
I don't, if I'm honest, I don't know how much emphasis I put into the ended badly at clubs argument, because I just if Canterbury would have won one of those 2 grand finals, we look at it completely differently.
Yeah.
They were not too far away from winning. And to be honest with you, a year ago when Madge signed with Brisbane, we're going, oh, geez, it didn't end well at South Sydney.
Yeah,
it didn't end well at the West Tigers. He's too harsh on everyone, blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden you win and it's just fucking forgotten. And I know it hasn't ended well at the Titans too, but hot tip, I can't think of anyone other than John Cartwright that it has ended well at the Titans, and that was just a pass mark, realistically.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I look into that. I would probably lean towards Des personally.
Yeah.
Slightly.
5 grand finals over 2 different teams.
Yeah.
And I think the rebuild.
Yeah. I think the point you made, the rebuild of Manly, I think people forget how fucked they were.
Most people wouldn't even know.
Yeah, wouldn't even be aware of it or anything. Yeah, that's actually a very, very valid point from you. I think the guy that is most likely to jump into this criteria, I think it is Robbo.
Yeah.
When you compare him to all the other coaches in the league at the moment, I know there is the Serraldos, the Webbies, all these guys that are doing these really impressive things, these new age coaches, which is great to see. But, if Serraldo wins 3 comps in the next 6 years, which would be a dynasty, which would be fucking incredible, it'd put him even with Robbo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The three comps is just such a big step. And I think the other thing with Robbo is, like it, lump it, disagree, whatever, the club he's at, they will give him opportunities to win comps over the next few years. They will reload and go again. Based on how they went this year and, the improvements they made, and now they got Sam Walker for a full season. If they're in the conversation again next year, wouldn't overly shock me. They probably should be with the squad they've got, realistically.
Well, if Robbo wins 2 comps in the next 10 years, suddenly he's probably on the list.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on what happens with Madge and Ivan, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. It's been how many years? So it's been 6 years since he last won one.
19.
Yeah, so as you said, if he wins 2 in the next 10, which, the Roosters, it's not very often they go a decade without winning a comp.
Yeah.
He'll be right up there in that conversation as well. All right, guys, thanks for joining us. Once again, this is the end of our At the Table, the top 4 of each position, including coach, obviously, of the NRL era. If you haven't listened to any of the others, guys, we've got about 8 episodes that dropped before this. They are on the Rugby League Guru podcast. They're on YouTube as well. Probably when you guys listen to this, I'm about to take a few days off the podcast. So I appreciate your support. Just going to enjoy the last few days of my holiday, and then we'll be back into it sort of at the end of November, start of December. Thanks for joining us once again on the Rugby League Guru podcast.